Okay,
Alright.
so we are live.
We're live.
Oh, we are live already.
We are.
Finally,
So
we are once again live,
the red
and
things start blinking,
yeah, the red things start blinking. 0 people in here. Okay, let's see if it's sharing. Are you ready, Ian? Are you ready to
I
rock
am
people's
ready.
world?
I
You have
rock
all
people's
your
world.
gold. Do you have all your gold
I'm ready
nuggets?
to share stories. So yeah, this should be interesting. I've not done this since last year.
Last
Wow.
year.
Yeah, actually, the last one I did was with you guys as well.
Oh,
Remember? I think
really?
it
Oh,
was
yeah.
Sinj and I.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hello, Ahmad. Okay, feel free to put in your questions for Ian, then we can quiz him. It's going to be starting. Hello, Charlotte.
Hi,
It's going to be
Charlotte.
starting at 6:30, not 7. Sorry. So it's so in this meantime, let's just chit chat a little bit.
Sure. Maybe what does Charlotte and all I say Ijaz Ijaz. How do you pronounce it?
I
Adjust.
think
Ijaz.
Ijaz Ahmad.
Yeah.
Ijaz. What do you guys
Ijaz.
do?
By the way, there's about a lag time of 3 to 5 seconds.
3 to 5 seconds. Okay.
Yeah. So they might take a bit of time to reply.
That's
So in the
fine.
meantime, how is it like, being stuck at home? Oh, where did he disappear to?
Yeah, I'm not sure.
Missing Ian.
Missing
Our
Ian.
star is missing. Our guest for today
Our
is
star is
missing.
back.
I'm sorry. I accidentally clicked login because I realized I can't comment anything at all.
I see. So
Um,
how have the whole MCO been treating you?
How the MCO been treating me? Well, I
I
mean,
mean, it's a new one again now.
it is a new one. It's a third one this time. Well, I started appreciating my home a lot more. Started doing a lot more decorations. Just cause I feel like I'm really using my house now. Before that, you go to office, and then you come back home, and you're like, you know what? Just want to watch TV, have dinner, and that's it. But now you wake up, you're like, you know what? It'll be nice to have some plants. So I started, getting into plants, into like decorating my place. I've spent a lot on home decor. Yeah.
Mm,
This room not yet though. You can see it's quite bare,
it's
but
quite bare. Yeah.
there will be plants here soon. I'll be getting shelves, so we'll see. We'll see. How about you guys?
Nice. Uh, and
How about
let
you,
Omid
Audrey?
go first.
For me, it's same old same actually. Yeah,
Same
I don't
old.
see any difference though. Like we've been working from home since last year, right?
Okay, fair enough. Fair enough.
Yeah.
Yeah, but this plant thingy, I noticed like everyone, like the first thing they go to when they're stuck at home is plants.
Yeah. See,
Nobody's like
I'm
going
quite
and get a
plant
pet or
generation.
something.
Is the one behind you? Is that fake or real? Oh,
That
there
one
we
is
go.
fake.
That's fake.
Wow.
Look at this baby.
Wow.
There's
Wow.
one. There's like a few days I forgot to plant it, and everything just and then I pour a lot of water, and then it come back alive
I
again.
see.
Oh, I think I should take my whole laptop and bring it to balcony. I do have some stuff there.
Yeah, you see there. I told you. So yeah, but I mean, work-wise, I feel work stretching a lot more because you're. I think it's the same last year. Like you work a lot harder, because sometimes you don't know that like time has passed so much. Whereas in office, you have colleagues, you have a bit of distraction. You're like, hey, it's time for coffee, that kind of thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think when it comes to, I think one of the things that you also feel that work stretches a lot is because there isn't a time where you really cut off. Like back then you're in office, and then when you want to go home, you actually drive home, you actually walk home or something. There's a point of time where you pack up and go. But
That's
over
true.
here, you don't pack up and go, right?
Right.
So it's quite sucky.
I mean,
sometimes.
I don't miss the commute at all. Like I'm happy with this work from home arrangement. Um, but I do miss the people though.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. I think the people and the colleagues. I think that's one of the things that makes a company great. Like the people. And I think lacking that, I mean, you're doing good like work that's fun and all, but yeah, I mean, part of work is the people that you're working with. So yeah, I do miss that.
We are all social animals after all.
Yeah. Well, probably also, why I contracted freaking COVID last year as well, which is no good, but that's another story.
Okay. But in the meantime, just before we start, we can just share a little bit that our dear Ian here, he's going to be running the Shopify class with all of with NextAcademy. So if you guys are interested in setting up a Shopify store, feel free to reach out. I think Omit's going to share that link in the chat. But yeah, I mean, sometimes people will wonder why do we really need to purposely go for a Shopify class or anything? Actually, you can do it yourself. It's no problem also. But I guess at the same time, sometimes there's just so many options over there. Like even for me, when I first started trying to use Shopify, I was like, what are these buttons? And I started calling Ian. He was the go-to guy for me. I called him, Ian, what am I supposed to do? Where am I supposed to paste this? What's this thing? What pages do I need to have? He was the person who actually showed me the way. So yeah, the light. He was the person who showed me the light, right? Because he by profession he is not a Shopify developer or Shopify store builder, but he built his store on Shopify and he built it really extensively. So he knows a lot about Shopify, guys. And he when you hear him speak about Shopify, it's as though there's this like wife like that.
As if I own it. Yeah,
it's as though you own it.
Yeah.
You'll be racking in so much money right now.
Like, I probably should have. Yeah. I wish, but it's all right.
You can own the share. You can own the Shopify share.
I do own Shopify shares.
You're a partial owner then.
I wouldn't say that, but I mean it's not moved much. I mean I think I bought it when it was behind. So, but yeah, I mean I think one of the best things that I think Shopify has done is user experience. Like they didn't think so much about the customer. They thought about the customer a lot, and that is the business owners and how to make life easy for them, and it's so beautifully done. Yeah.
I can imagine you saying that. Okay, guys, we are 1 minute to start. Are you ready? Are both you guys ready?
I am ready.
I am ready as well.
Nice. Okay. So I'm doing a countdown, 10, 9, 8.
Wow, it's a launch.
So well, guys, in the meantime, please do share for whoever who seems to be. Ooh, okay. This is a very good question. Ong Chin On
Questions
asked.
are coming up.
Yeah. Yes. Please throw the questions in. Bring the questions in.
Oh, we started with questions right away.
Yeah. We okay. 6:30. So now it's time for me to introduce. Okay. Ready, set, go. Okay, welcome back, guys, once again to this Thursday. Well, it's Thursday NextAcademy webinar. So we are pretty much doing it every week. So please follow us, stay tuned with us, click share, click like, click subscribe, and follow us for every Thursday or almost every Thursday webinar. And today we have a very special someone, and his name is called Ian Ng. Right, and
Hello.
Ian. So with me here is Omid and Ian. So Omid, he's a part of NextAcademy, and he put this whole thing together today for all of you guys. So it's very exciting. And with Ian is such a good friend. I've known him for years right now. Years. And what is the most exciting part? The reason one of the big reasons why we brought him on here today is because we want him to be able to share his experience on how he actually built his store. I mean, one of the most amazing or mind-blowing thing is that from 0 visitors a day to 50K visitors a day. How many websites can have 50K visitors a day? Okay, guys, a day. So really excited to be able to have you on board with us, Ian.
Thank you very much.
So maybe Ian, tell everyone about yourself, your experience, and how you got started with e-commerce.
All right. Hi guys. So I know she's done an introduction of who I am. But to go a little bit back, right? So I've always been I love building things up, right? So I started my career off in the digital marketing space, and later on I realized that e-commerce is I think about 2014, 2015, around that period, e-commerce started booming. The rise of the Shopee Lazadas, they started coming on. So I thought, hey, you know what, this might be a good opportunity to go into the e-commerce space, right? But then the thing was to figure out what to sell, right? So again, I was looking at different things. There was pets. I was looking at electronics, and eventually I thought, hey, you know what? I think health products, right? That's something that everyone buys. And like, I mean, you step into a pharmacy at one point in time, right? So I thought, yeah, I'll digitalize that. Everyone seems to be creating stores that sell everything, right? So the Zaloras were selling, the Zara selling fashion. Then there's a Lazada, they sold everything. The Shopee, again, they sold everything. And I was thinking, you know what? There is a space where people wanted to visit a store that specializes in one particular vertical, right? So again, I went through different verticals, and the one that really stood with me was health, because it reached a very wide market, and also it was scalable, right? So there was a lot more products I could keep adding to the store. Growth was there, and that's what got me excited. So, however, the problem with me setting up a health store was that I did not look anything like the person who would set up a health store. I was like 10 kilos heavier than what I am right now. Like, if you see the CEO of or like a fat CEO of a health store, trust me, you're not gonna buy from the health store. You're not gonna believe it, right? But but yeah, that was actually one of the challenges. Health was not exactly really exciting or like passionate for me, but I did see an opportunity there. But yeah, so that was room for growth, right? So yeah, I mean, I started off selling actually just purely organic products. That was paraben free, like soap that had no toxins in it and things like that. But then I realized the market was really small, and therefore my co-founder and I, we decided, okay, you know, we're gonna expand it to other things, right? So we sold things like from healthy groceries to things that you find in pharmacies, from health, personal care, body care, hair care, all these things, right? So basically, we were starting up in a space where Watsons, Guardian, stuff that you see in a pharmacy, we basically brought online. And these guys were not online yet at the time, so it was a good first mover for us. And yeah, that's basically how we came about with Koyara. I'll tell a little bit about the name, like Koyara. So we actually, I remember when we came up with it, we actually took the name out of a page from Lazada and Zalora. So we wanted a name that, regardless what race you were, regardless what language you spoke, you could pronounce it, right? Like, see, Lazada, right? It's three syllables alternating between consonant vowel, right? So that's what we wanted. So we thought, okay, you know what? We went through a whole list of different ones, right? La Toya and all different, and then Koyara came to some kind of rolled off the tongue, and I was like, yeah, that could work.
You do know that not a lot of people can pronounce R, right?
So you see, yeah, exactly.
Koyala, Koyala.
So exactly. So we had a lot of the Chinese folks, especially the R, right? I did not. We completely forgot about that. So yes, there was this is Koyala. I was like, yes, this is Koyala. I was like, oh, Koyara, sorry. But yeah, I mean, yeah, something I would have changed. But yeah, I mean, that's the genesis of how we started, lah. Yeah.
Definitely.
Mm.
So this is a question that someone asked like previously. Let me just see. Okay, can show it up. Okay, so someone posted this question in previously. Why not just focus on marketplace, right? Why do you even bother to even start a website in the first place?
Right. So you see, the thing with Shopee and Lazada, and I'll start by saying we actually were listed on both Lazada and Lazada, Shopee. And I think at the time there was Gem 5 and that's what, 11th Street, yeah. Oh, it seems like so long ago, but yeah, I don't think both of them are. I don't think they're both around anymore, right?
Mhm.
Yeah. So we were listed
United
across
States
all
no
the
more.
marketplaces
Yeah.
there, and then of course we had our own website. But the reason why we actually listed on those was actually where we would charge about 10 to 15% higher on these platforms. And what happens is that we actually, because we don't really have control of the customers, we don't have control of who we're selling to. We have no idea who these guys are, how old they are, male or female. We don't have any of the details, right? And that's the disadvantage when you're selling on a marketplace. You don't have
Yeah.
control of your customers. You don't have control of the whole customer experience. But we had control of the box, right, that we were being sent out. So what we did was that we would put like a little flyer in there. We printed flyers and we had like a promo code there. We say, hey, you know what? If you go to Koyara.com, you could actually buy this for like 10, 15% cheaper, right? And we drove a lot of customers from the marketplaces to our website from that, right? So I think one of the to reinstate the point, right? I think uh, I wouldn't say stay off or compete against the marketplaces, because you're not gonna win, right? It's really difficult. They've got a lot of money, and the way they spend on marketing is ridiculous, right? So, but there are ways, right, to use these guys to take advantage of your own store and promote your store, right? So that's what we did, right? Take control of whatever that we have. In this case, we had control of whatever we put into the box, right? So we could put flyers, samples, things like that. Anything that got them to come over to our store. So yeah, I mean, why I would suggest for you to build your own website would probably be um, because you want control over the customer experience, right? You want to know who your customers are, right? You want to do retargeting, you want to do remarketing, knowing who your customers are, right? What their pain points are, talking to them, reaching out to them, asking them um, uh, how they feel about your website or your whole shopping experience, things like that, right? You don't have control over that when you're on a marketplace.
I see, I see. There's a question that just came in by Kevin Chan. Are you just a pure online retailer, or do you have any distribution agreement or exclusivity over your products in Malaysia? If do you source locally or overseas, and if you're an online retailer, what's your USP?
Right. So we are an online retailer. The thing is that we do not own a uh, single product on our website, right? So we were literally a marketplace for health products. We had, again, all the top brands from the Scots, or even the Sukin, I think Johnson Johnson, all these guys, right? They were listing our platform, and we went directly to them to actually work with them to do the marketing. I remember even going to P&G, like Procter and Gamble, work with Dettol and all these kind of products, right? So, but again, at the end of the day, we don't have control over any of these products. So what we do is that we would go to them, right, and say we want to sell your products, right, and they would ask what is your USP, right? Again, for us, because we are a vertically focused website, right, we are able to identify our customers a lot better than, let's say, the marketplaces, right? So if we wanted to target someone with a particular health problem or a health condition, we would know who to go to, right? Because maybe this person has bought dandruff shampoo in the past in the past 3 months, right? And therefore, maybe you have a new dandruff product, or you have a new product for eczema, for whatever it is, right? We would be able to actually target these guys, right? And health is something that I'm sure you don't want people knowing what kind of problems that you have, right? It is something that is of extreme privacy, right? And the great thing about, like I said, with doing this digitally, which is what the retail guys are not able to do, is that we are able to, of course, to target these guys and tell them, hey, you know what? I think these products might work for you, right? And we know that because you have this particular problem, right? And we're not creating like an eczema like campaign and things like that. We just know that, okay, if people who have bought items who have previously solved these health problems, we'll target these guys and send it out to them, and it's all done dynamically, right? So,
Nice.
so yeah, okay, I think I'm going a bit off here, but yeah, no, we don't really have. We do have some that were exclusive to us. We for those we said that we would not only sell it on our website, we will handle the entire online online marketplace for you as well. So even the Lazada, the Shopee, we actually even we listed it there for them as well, right?
Nice.
Now with most of these things are already sourced locally. Um, the one thing is that with products overseas, they need to be registered with KKM, right? So with health products, it's not so easy to bring them in. Like everything needs to be registered. So if you bring like a health like a protein shake, for example, they would scrutinize every single ingredient in there, right? And just to register these products, it costs so much money, it costs so much time. So we rather work with distributors, right, who have already done all the registrations, and we handle what we're good in, which is the which is the selling online. Yeah. So yeah, we're just
So
an online retailer. Mm.
so guys, what's happening? Can someone just off the my voice?
Sorry,
No, I'm hearing my own voices now.
are you hearing your own voice? Are you
Yeah.
sure it's your own voice?
Okay. A really quick one, guys. The
Yeah.
so a few things that Ian just said. A few gold nuggets is number one. When you are having your own website, you have the ability, you have control. You have control to especially. And also, Camillus just said that if you're going on marketplace, he said that marketplace cannot build branding lah. That is very true. It's very tough to build branding on marketplace. So what Ian did is that he still put his items in those marketplace in Shopee, Lazada, but he find a way to get them to come to his website. And he did that via his box and via and he also put in flyers inside the box as well to get people into his website. So that's definitely one of the ways that you can go about it. And you also saw how he used data to actually retarget people of certain health issues, right? If someone has been buying a dandruff shampoo, if you have a new dandruff shampoo, then you can recommend it to people who have actually bought dandruff shampoo, and all these things can be done automatically, right? Ian, you were saying,
Yeah, and
yeah,
that's also why these health companies, they actually rather work with us, because again, the marketplaces are not going to do things like that, right? They wanted to reach their potential customers fast, and yeah, that was one way for us to do that.
Are you able to answer this question in a really nice way?
Oh,
Nice,
sure. I
sweet,
mean,
simple. Yeah.
we tried doing some importing with stuff from the US and things like that. At the end of the day, we tried with a few products. We ended up just parallel importing them, which is illegal, right? It's not allowed to do that, because we would want to test the market to see how things were performing. By the end of the day, if you really want to do it, you have to go through the process, go and pay for every ingredient to be scrutinized with that. It could take between 3 to 9 months just to register one product. And if one ingredient gets rejected, the whole product gets rejected. So I would say look at what is allowed before trying to bring these health products in. Yeah.
Nice. So okay, I think Koyara, the story for Koyara has been pretty amazing. There are some other questions that people just ask. Is number one is why should a person use Shopify? Let me just see some of the questions that just came in. Right, like
Sure.
Ong Chin On said, what's the difference? Or what's the speed difference? He's asking for speed difference between WooCommerce and WooCommerce and Shopify.
Right.
We also have another person who's asking, Charlotte is asking, hey, should you use WordPress, Wix, or Shopify?
Right.
So maybe the first question like we can start off with is, why Shopify? What's the difference between Shopify, Wix, Weebly, and WordPress, and so on and so forth.
Right. Well, okay. So with WordPress, right? So WordPress is a most of WordPress websites I see was are self-hosted. That means you need to go and buy your own servers to host it, and you manage the hosting yourself, right? So the great thing, right, about Wix and Shopify is that they are hosted on the CDN, right? So a CDN is almost like a server that is distributed all around the world. So imagine like if you're browsing your website from Singapore, you would, and let's say the nearest server in Asia, let's say it's in Singapore, right? your customer would download the website from Singapore, right? And if it's in the US, a customer in the US comes, the server that is in the US would load your website, right? So therefore, it's a lot faster. So that's the speed that you get, and Shopify handles all of that for you, right? So whereas for WordPress, it depends on the server that you are hosting it in, right? So if your website is hosted in Asia, the people in Asia will of course be able to access your website fast. But however, the people in the States would find it a little bit slow. So there are CDN servers that you can actually subscribe to and manage it yourself. But it gets a little bit technical. So unless you're looking to dive into that and really take control of that, I would just recommend, go straight into services that already do it for you, right? So one thing I said about Shopify when hold on, what was the question again? The other than the difference.
Just speed. But what's the difference between Shopify, Wix, Weebly, and everything else?
Right. I think so with Shopify, right? So I think they are e-commerce first, right? Whereas with WordPress, with Wix, with these websites, like so Wix in particular, I will be honest, I'm not familiar with Wix, but based on what I've experienced, Wix is definitely much more for freelancers, for individual sellers. Their creative freedom on the website is amazing, right? So you can change banners, you can customize a lot of different things, and they started off as a website builder, right? So for personal websites, for individual websites, but e-commerce was something that they just say, yeah, you know what, like they'll add it in, but it's not something that they're focused on. Same thing goes with WordPress. They are a blog first company, right? And that's what they started off with. Sure, the WooCommerce and all that has started coming in, and it's amazing stuff, right? But I would still say at the end of the day, the people who focus the most on the whole e-commerce experience is definitely Shopify, right? And for them, they just small things, right? How you add a product into how you add a product into your website. That whole experience is amazing, right? Like go try adding a product across all three platforms, right? And when you start realizing that you've got thousands of products to add in, then it becomes a bit of a hassle, and then you'll realize why the whole what you're paying for, right? So Shopify is definitely the more expensive, the premium one. But for people that's serious about e-commerce and saying that e-commerce is going to be the way to go, I focus on my customers' experience when they shop. I'll definitely go towards Shopify yeah. And then again, it depends on where you're at. Yeah.
So in a way, you say it depends where you're at. Maybe the big question is, if someone just today just decided maybe I want to try e-commerce, right, for the first time in my life, would you suggest for me to just jump straight into Shopify? I mean, Shopify is not exactly the cheapest, but I'm just trying to test things out instead.
Right. I think you want to test things out. I mean, go for the free ones. I mean, or even the much cheaper ones, the localized ones like the easy stores. There is again the WordPress as well. I think that's a good place to start. Then focus on building something very simple, right? As simple as possible. Then work on your marketing, because, like I said, a lot of the in Malaysia especially, right? I realize the design and look and feel of your website is very secondary compared to, let's say, in the States. If you go to a really crappy website, you're gonna feel like, oh, it feels a bit dodgy, I'm not gonna buy. But not the case in Malaysia. I mean, you look at the marketplace. I mean, Shopee has like a amazing user experience. Lazada is very cluttered. Then you have Leilong, right, where it looks like it was built in 1995, right? So but people are still purchasing there, right? People are still spending on the mudas and all that. So I mean, so I'll say, like I said, design would be very secondary. Go ahead and start, like I said, on a cheaper, more cheaper solution. Get a feel of it. Then, of course, you can upgrade later on. Migration is not that hard these days from one platform to another.
So when is the point of time where, like when do someone decides like it's time to go do Shopify? At what stage of my business would I be at to say that I should consider Shopify right now?
Right. All right. So you see, I'll tell you, like we see with Koyara.com, right? See, I'm a person who loves building, right? I've built a lot of digital products, and the first thing that came to mind when I got into Koyara is that, hey, you know what? I think we should build a website from scratch, right? But then I realized how much work that is, right? Just to build an e-commerce site from scratch, right? Because I'm a person who is obsessed with user experience and user interfaces. Like I love design, right? I really
Yeah.
appreciate design. So so for myself, I did run through all the different e-commerce. I think we started off in Magento first, right? So Magento is again one of the first guys. I think they were the first guys who did e-commerce well before Shopify existed, right? And we were built on Magento, right? And I was looking at, oh my god, like this whole experience is horrible, not just for my customers, but even for the users who are uploading products and managing the sites on a day-to-day basis, right? So for me is that when a business owner wants to take control over the whole website experience for their customers as well as also for the people internally, right? That's when you start considering using a platform like Shopify, right? I would never suggest to go and build your site from scratch. I've done that before for other companies where we built it from scratch. It cost over $100,000, and it was nowhere even near what any of the solutions are offering today. Until you've reached a point where you've done millions of dollars of sales, and you realize that, you know what, like small things like a button is dropping, is causing people to drop out, things like that, right? Where there's some things in Shopify you can't have control over, like the checkout page. Then think about building your own website from scratch and things like that. Otherwise, honestly, I mean, why go through all that hassle? People like Kylie Jenner, who has done like millions in sales a month, that they're still using a platform like Shopify, right? So it makes things easier. Yeah.
Okay. I think
Mm.
I let's see. Let's see what are some of the questions. Okay, so Kevin also concur with you. I use Magento, it's terrible, I know what you mean. But how much technical knowledge and expertise does a business owner need to manage a Shopify store efficiently?
Right. Technical. I would say, let's say Magento technicality is on a scale of 1 to 10, right? I'll say Magento require maybe like a 7, right? Shopify is like a 3, right? Because it's, again, they've made everything so simple. Like the smallest things, like even calculating um, the margins of your products, right? They do it there for you. It's so idiot proof, right? I wouldn't want to use an example of who could use it, but but yeah, it's technically it is one of the most simple platforms I've ever come across for e-commerce, and I'm just so amazed with the. I'm not so amazed by the front end. It's the back end that I'm so impressed by. Yeah, and the community is so huge as well. So you've got plenty of support.
He also have this question, like, do you sell outside of Malaysia? How do you see your focus and how efficient Shopify is for other countries, currency, logistics, and so on?
Oh, okay. So I don't. We did try selling, especially like to Singapore, to our neighboring countries, and all that. The problem with that is not so much the selling. Selling was easy. The problem with our e-commerce is the logistics part of it, right? So it can get expensive, and we want to subsidize cost of logistics for our customers, and that could be an expensive part on our end as well. So we decided to win Malaysia first rather than go internationally. But I do know, again, I've got friends. I think if you look at Jeremy's Vape Club MY, right? So he sells internationally, like globally, and he's using one Shopify account for that, right, to manage currencies and logistics. I think he works with. I can't remember the logistics company he works with. But yeah, I mean it's really easy to localize the currency, or even localize the website, depending on who comes in, right? So if someone from Malaysia steps into your website, you can localize it for them, like show a Malaysia flag, like and post in Bahasa and things like that. If someone is coming in from Germany, right? And you somehow have a localized German website, you can do that as well, right? There's an app for that. So the app store in Shopify is one of the best things. The community is so huge. So whatever you can think about, someone most likely would have built an app for that.
So guys, quick one. Like, if you guys are interested in building the Shopify store, Ian is going to be running how to build a Shopify store. And that's happening on the 12th of June. So let's just pop that into the chat. You guys can find the link there. So do come by, and and Ian's going to be guiding you guys on how to build a store, and he's going to be able to share a lot of very interesting insights as well. Let's see. Okay, so there's one question.
How do I like strawberry? I'm not sure if strawberry is a brand or are you talking about the fruit? But regardless, how do I compete with parallel importers? Well, I mean, at the end of the day, I mean, well, why do people want to shop with your website, right? I'll shop with you, right? So if you're competing on a price thing, I mean, you're not going to win in the long run. You could win in the short run, but I'm telling you that it's going to be tough, right? So again, for e-commerce, is not just about buying the product. The entire experience from discovering the product all the way to receiving the product, right? The whole unboxing and things like that. That's the whole customer experience that that e-commerce people should be focusing on, right? How fast they get the products, things like that. So I mean, you can go and compete on a pricing war. But I'm going to tell you, it's not going to be a long-term game for you. In the end, you don't want the people to know you as the place where you can get cheap stuff, right? So you want to be known for maybe that's what your brand represents, right? Like if you look at AA Pharmacy, the big pharmacies, you go, okay, you know what, I want to buy pharmaceutical products that are cheaper, and they will throw prices, right? That's what their brand's known for. For us, like I said, it's about one thing we did to stand ourselves out is that we had actual pharmacists, we had actual doctors that you can consult on our website via the live chat. So just things like that, right? It's part of the entire experience, which is why people want to shop with us and come back with us. Yeah. Oh, by the way, if you guys want to know, like if you guys try and access Koyara, it's no longer there. The business has been sold. So just letting you know, you can find articles of it online. But yeah, it's no longer live anymore.
Right. So speaking of Koyara, so what was some of the mistakes that you made with Koyara? Was there any anything that you feel like, okay, it was a mistake and then I had to fix it,
right?
Or any problems that you were facing with the business?
Oh man, of course. I think one of the biggest things for us is again, we were selling products that other people own, right? And not having control of the product that you're selling can be a bit of a problem, because again, you're in the mercy of someone's hands. If they decide to not want to sell it to you one day, you're cut off. You're completely cut off, and you have nothing to sell, right? And imagine if that product is something like 40% of your total revenue, right? And it does happen, right? With large retailers. Again, I'm talking about the supermarkets, the pharmacies, where they sell products that are owned by others. It does happen where a certain bulk of brands would contribute to the most of your sales, right? The problem also is that when that happens, you're going to start competing on price, and therefore you don't make much on these big brands. You'll make much on doing the upselling and cross-selling, and things like that. So I think one thing that I would have done differently would probably be probably having control, maybe having some products that were more something that we made, right? Not something that I hate the idea of selling something that I don't own. Yeah, I can't control the price. I can't control the quality. Yeah. Second thing will probably be that I think with hiring, right? I think that was something that was very tricky for us as well. There are some things that we were thinking like, hey, you know what, like packing products, you know what, that's so simple. We'll do it ourselves, right? and we'll save money there instead of like you'll say, we'll spend the nights packing and things like that. But little they realize that again, businesses grow because of that's a dog. Yeah, business grow because of people, right? The people that you're with. So you don't want to stinge on that, right? Like that 2-3 hours that we spend packing things on our own, right? As founders and owners of the business, we could have probably used that to figure out how to grow our business and outsource that to someone else, right? So we stinge on a lot of different things, and we try to make everyone wear different hats. And in the beginning, I remember because of that, that really stunted our growth. In fact, we were losing even more money than when we started to hire a much bigger team to have to handle these mundane tasks. So yeah, I mean these are probably things that I'll probably change. Yeah.
Right. Okay, there's a question. Are you using Shopify Plus or Shopify? I mean, were you using Shopify Plus or Shopify?
Well, Shopify Plus, we didn't really see the benefits of going in there. I think we did explore going to Shopify Plus, where they had a lot of automation stuff that we could use, but the benefits wasn't that much. You could get like a dedicated account manager that responds to you within 24 hours, which is great. But you pay like something like $1,000 a month just for Shopify Plus. So I wouldn't recommend it. I mean, it probably has changed a little bit more now. Right now, I think even the $79 plan, I can't remember what it's called. I think it's just called Shopify. I think advanced plan. There's big and there's the middle tier plan. I think that's more than enough for businesses that are looking to grow.
Right. There's another question. Do you think the distributor might start compete with retailer on Shopee, Lazada platform in the future?
Oh, of
Let's
course.
say,
I mean,
yeah,
we saw that happening with us as well, right? Not just with the Shopee and Lazada platforms, but the brands themselves. In fact, if you look at if you buy things like Dettol, right? You see P&G, right, which is the distributors themselves are starting to go on these platforms as not as like Uncle Chong's store and things like that, but they're going as P&G themselves. They are starting to create promotions themselves. So they are going into B2C, right? They are going right into B2B. So they themselves realize that, what's the point of going through distributors when we can do it ourselves online? So yeah, I mean, definitely that is a problem. And again, this is why, like I said, selling a product that you don't own or don't exclusively distribute could be very challenging.
oh yeah. Now here's the juicy question. So give us some tips
Well, I
on
mean,
how
it's
to
not
grow.
something that you're gonna get. It's not something you're gonna go. You're gonna get like right away, right? But we spent a lot on the marketing part, right? So one of the ways, right, like I said, was we did a bit of guerrilla marketing, like I said, things that using the marketplaces to drive traffic to our website. But the other thing is also that we're very cautious. So we're not a big company. We don't have that much cash flow to spend on marketing. So we're very careful with with how we drove traffic to our website, right? So things like Google Shopping, that was one of the ways we worked. I think more than 70% of our marketing spend was a lot on search ads. So we wanted people. So we didn't target um, things like shampoo, right? Shampoo is just too big, too expensive to target, right? So we wanted for people that are searching for a specific brand, right, or a specific health problem, right? So these are things that people were we were solving solution. We were solving problems for people. And when we market, we realized, okay, people are coming to us because we help them identify. We were doing manual tagging, right? So we would tag all the different um, personal care products that we have, right? Or even things like apple cider vinegar, right? There's a lot of health benefits. We would tag every single one of these benefits in there to make sure that people who are searching for, let's say, indigestion or even searching for solutions for what's this like stomach pains, or all these kind of things, we would target those things, and that's what we did very differently compared to everyone else. So these kind of marketing was a lot cheaper because no one else did it, right? So try and find the space that is that's not that doesn't have that much competition, right? So if let's say if you're selling a weight loss product, for example, if you go to Google Ads and you're going to spend money on the search and the keyword weight loss, trust me, you're gonna be burning at like $10 per click, $15 per click. You're gonna burn out, right? So try an indirect way of trying to um, an indirect way of actually targeting these guys. So, for example, maybe you're targeting people who's about to get married, right? So that's one way you can say, oh, these guys most likely might want to lose weight, right? Or maybe someone that just had a baby, right? Chances are they might want to lose weight as well, right? So again, you see, it's about trying to being very creative with your marketing, right? Now then, eventually we realized that the digital marketing spend, we started moving a lot towards organic growth. So while we were spending about was this well, we're spending a lot on the search marketing. Eventually that started shifting into more organic, so we started focusing a lot more on SEO and things like that, right? So SEO was fantastic, and it's one of the most brilliant things that I dived into. In fact, till today is something I'm really passionate about. um, and we can see that the results are there, right? So we no longer needed to spend money on certain paid keywords. We were ranking first all the time for things. So SEO is something that we spent quite a lot of time on. It's definitely something that worth it. Did Audrey like disappear?
Audrey, yeah, he disappeared for like 5 minutes. She will be back soon. Yeah.
Sure.
Okay, great. So there are some questions in the chat. One is asking, at what point did you make transition from paid media to SEO?
Right. There we go. Hi, Blake. Well, for SEO, so we started realizing that. So I think SEO works well when your traffic is high, right? So one of the key things that Google tracks or score is, are people visiting your site? Are they bouncing off your site? And we had a lot of we used a lot of our digital marketing spend, right, to push that a lot. But eventually, when we started ranking, so again, when we looked at our marketing spend across the different keywords, across the different, bear in mind there were like thousands of keywords that we were working at any month in time, right? Let's say, give you an example, like say it was a health problem, right? Let's say dandruff, right? And we were targeting like, okay, dandruff products in Malaysia, right? So we started we were spending a bit of ad spend on these things, but then later on when we realized, oh, we're starting to rank a little bit higher, then we started reducing our ad spend on that. Eventually, when we realized that, oh, you know what, we were constantly ranking within the top 5, then we can start turning that off a little bit more, and then we would drive that ad spend to other keywords that were not performing as well. Yeah, so SEO was something that really drove a ton of traffic, right? And we really spent a lot of money on that.
Right. So I think you started off your career as SEO practitioner as well, right? Were you doing SEO
I started
before
in the
this?
digital marketing space, so it's something
Right.
that I actually really loved. Yeah.
Nice. Okay. Were you doing it in-house at Koyara? I think
Sorry.
people are asking if you were doing it in-house or you hired an agent for SEO.
Right. I'll be honest right now, the agents, like I think about 80 or 90% of the agents and people that you see online who are offering SEO services, they're crap, right? They'll tell you like, oh, I'm going to do an SEO score on your page, and let me show you, oh, you got 60%, and I can drive it to 80%. I just need to change your meta tags and all that. Trust me, like it's crap, right? If you want to test an SEO person, right, ask them what their backlink strategy is, right? Backlinks are one of the number one. In fact, I think it still is the number one way to go with SEO. So if you're engaging with these guys, ask them what the strategy is, because they should be spending about 60% of the time trying to figure that out, right? How to get links back to your page. if they tell you they're going to change your page and make it more SEO friendly and mobile friendly, like, you can do that shit on your own. All right, like you're not going like don't pay someone to go and do that. Trust me, I've scrutinized a lot of all these SEO experts. Like, you search SEO services Malaysia, I guarantee you like 70-80% of them, like, they don't know what they're doing.
Yeah, true. Actually, the SEO, the on-page SEO, if you learn it a bit, you will be able to do it yourself, right?
Sure.
But when it comes to backlinking,
like 10-20% of you ranking eventually. So,
right.
I mean, the guys I say who are really good at it. Like, I mean, I've looked at some of these gurus that are doing all these SEO stuff. Like, they do have some. I mean, because they are on the first page, right? So they must have done something right. But the services that they offer when they come to me with a quotation and what they're doing, I don't know. I mean, I was disappointed with what I saw there. Yeah.
Right. Okay. So, okay, let me look at the question. There is some questions coming in. Tina is asking, how much do you spend online advertising a month? So, yeah, I mean, I'm not sure if you can answer that, but if you cannot, can you just like tell us how much did you spend on SEO, how much on Facebook ads, on different kind of ads that you had?
Okay, so the way we calculate how much we should spend was basically a percentage of our revenue. So depending on the on our revenue amount. So in the beginning, when we were doing something like $50,000 ringgit a month, we would say, okay, you know what, we can dedicate maybe 10% of that, and then we'll figure out how to distribute maybe like that 5,000 to be spread out across that. As we continue to grow, then we started to that 10% amount still remained, right? But again, it depends on how we budget. It changed from month to month, but I'll say it ranged between it could be between 5% to about 15% of our total revenue. By then, I think the most I think we spent was something about close to about 50,000 a month. But that was more towards the later stage when revenue was definitely a lot higher than that. Yeah.
Yeah. So which channel were you guys spending on? Mostly Facebook ads or Google ads?
No, with Facebook, not so much. Facebook, we used it a lot more for branding purposes. So our digital marketing was split between from branding to conversions to more search ads or SEO and things like that. So we had depending on how we're performing for the previous month, we would adjust it accordingly. But I would say it changes. It changes depends on what. It really changes all the time. Yeah, so I can't really say which one we've spent most on. Yeah.
Right. Okay, cool. So there's a lot of questions coming in about SEO. I think there's a lot of SEO fans here.
Oh wow.
Right, asking you about how to create backlinks.
SEO okay.
Okay.
We didn't.
So
SEO is not something that you spend money on. Like, say, so John Kingston says, how much money did you spend on SEO when you first started? Bear in mind, SEO is something that is a long-term game, right? It's something that you're investing in for the long term. You will not see results within 1 or 2 months. We only saw results after 9 months, right? And that's something because it takes time for Google to recognize that, hey, you know what, these guys are something that is worth me recommending to my customers, right? So think about it, right? What is Google in for, right? So Google is in the business of providing the most relevant searches to their customers, right? So how relevant are you to them? So when again something as simple as like dandruff products in Malaysia, that could be thousands of results for that. How do you stand out as the one, right? So making sure that people don't bounce, right? When they land on your page, then they're not going to bounce. So we don't spend money on this thing. We just make sure that it's in place, right? What are the key things that is going to make this relevant to a customers that are searching for dandruff products in Malaysia, right? We also identify how many people are actually. So there's a lot of tools out there, Ahrefs, SEO Moz, like all these tools you can use, right? So that's something that I'll say spend money on, because these tools what helped with SEO. It's a lot better that you spend money on these tools than to spend money on like an SEO expert. I can tell you, you're not gonna see results there. Yeah, take time, go read. There's tons of articles out there. Yeah.
Yeah, true. I mean, this is what we always say. Like SEO is a long-term game. If you're planning to get any customer, anyone from SEO, just think long-term. Short-term will be like Facebook ads and all those things, I believe. Okay, let's switch gear. Let's switch back to our e-commerce. We were talking about e-commerce earlier.
Sure.
So, what was the top mistake you made at the beginning of your journey when you were creating your e-commerce?
Right.
Anything that you can think of, like share with someone who is just starting out.
Okay. Well, for me, it's a product mix, right? So what are you selling, right? Making sure that there's margins to work with. On average, our margins are close to between 15 to 30%. I can tell you it's so little because having a product that's 15 to 30%, which is what most retailers have, unless we realize that we cannot be doing revenues of 50,000, 60,000 a month. Like it's not going to get us anywhere. In fact, the ones who make money most is probably the your retailers, right? You yourself the brand owners, right? Not you as a retailer. You're not going to be making much from there. I can assure you. So, choosing the right product to sell, making sure that there's a decent margin to be made. I think that's really very key. The second thing is the turnover, right? Realizing that you don't need to make money from everything that you're selling, right? So I'm talking about this from a perspective that of a retailer that has a large product mix, right? If you own the brand, you own the product. I'll say that this probably doesn't apply, but a little bit maybe, right? So turnover is going to be very key. You don't necessarily need to make money from everything, right? If I buy 100 products of shampoo, for example, maybe 60% of it I can make money. 40% of it I'll probably want to lose money from it just to make sure there's constant turnover, right? To make sure that the products are turning in and out your warehouse. So yeah, turnover is definitely one of the most important things as well. Yeah. Again, then the third thing is probably hiring, right? Don't stinge on hiring. Hiring the right people is key. I wish I didn't stinge on that in the beginning. Towards the end, I realized, yeah, you know what? It's business are built by people, not so hire right people at the right time as well. Yeah.
Right. Great stuff. Like having a good margin, constant turnover of your product, and don't be stingy when it comes to hiring, right?
Yeah. Oh, lastly,
Okay.
sorry. Another thing is also the brand that you're working on. Like focus on the long term, right? So focus on building your brand, spread the word of what you're known about. Focus on what you have controlled on what you have actually control. Things that are long term, right? Things like SEO, things that don't. I mean, think about the long term. Don't just think about I need to make money within the first month or the second month. You're building a business, right? It takes time. Think about the long term. Yeah.
Okay. True. So actually, Yi Ting is asking the same question. She's asking, could you share what were the mistakes you made that you were starting off? If you could change, what would you do? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. I mean, is there anything you want to add? What would you do?
No,
What would
I
you
think
change?
I think the four things that I spoke about were based on mistakes that I've made. Like I said in the beginning, we didn't think about. We thought that every product that had to make money, right? So we're making sure that we made money on every single product. But eventually, I started learning the ways of how the Jaya grocers, the big supermarkets, the AA pharmacies, and the Watsons, how they are turning over stock, and why is it their revenues were so much higher. A lot higher, and the volume was just ridiculous, right? So then I started realizing, like, hey, you know what? It's about moving your stock, right? Bear in mind their net margin. So I was trading at a net margin of something about between 8 to 12%, which is considered a lot higher than industry average. The net margins that Watsons and Guardians are trading at was about 2%, right? So it's but however their revenue volume was at maybe 10, 20 times of what what we were doing. So yeah, I mean, it's something that I realized that, oh, I'm in a game of actually making sure that stock is constantly turnover. Yeah, as a retailer. Yeah.
Right. Okay,
Yes.
great
What
stuff.
Ong Chuan said, the 80-20 rule. Yeah.
Yep, true. By the way, guys, if you're watching this, we are going to have a next our Shopify workshop. It's going to be taught by Ian. Yep. If you are interested, the link is in the comments. You guys can check it out. Yeah. Um, so, okay, Audrey is back. Hi,
Oh,
Audrey.
guess who's back? Lady boss. Hello.
I was listening. So I think I think it's very exciting to hear what you have shared, right? I think from here you have shared about your story, how you started your website, how you started your business, also talking about why you use Shopify, and of course you also do share about SEO. A lot of people ask like the $1 million question: how you get so many people to come to your website, right? Because some people, 1,000 people coming in a month or so, struggling already, you know. So being able to get 50K a day, that's pretty insane. And I think you have dropped a lot of gold nuggets to pretty much everyone. So thank you so much, Ian, for everything. I think maybe one of the big questions really wanted to ask you is, you know, because by the end of the day, we are also talking about Shopify here, right? So how do you think, you know, Shopify has actually helped you accelerate your business? I know that I know the couple of times you told me, like, you know, I think there's a few times you just told me that, hey, Shopify is one of the most SEO friendly platforms. Shopify backend is really good. It helps, you know, reduce a lot of headaches and so on and so forth. I think, you know, one of these things you can actually share with everyone.
Right. I sound like the ultimate Shopify worshipper.
Yeah, you are the ultimate Shopify worshipper. Every day I ask you e-commerce, you'll go like, go just do Shopify, please. Worship Shopify.
It is true. I mean, I do recommend that. I mean, I love e-commerce as a whole, and I think like I say, Shopify is probably the easiest way to get into e-commerce, lah. Right? To start something and to really start selling something, so that, you know, you don't lose out on customers and things that, and then slowly grow your way up, or even grow out of Shopify one day, right? I think because of a lot of the, like I say, I talk again about the whole user experience, right? I talk again about the things that businesses would need, right? So the tools that Shopify offers as a lot of it offers a lot of automation, right? There are things that you can schedule, and this is where it stands out across above the Magentos, or even the WooCommerce and the Easy Stores, the other platforms that are offered in for e-commerce, is the whole app store that they have, right? Because of if you think about, because they open it up to everyone, right? If you're facing a particular problem, right? Like, let's say there's not a particular kind of discount that you want to offer to customers, and it's not available in Shopify. Chances are someone will have probably made an app for that, and you can just pay them to help you do that. The integrations that they have, right? So if you're using an accounting service like Xero, or one of those cloud-based accounting services, chances are there's an integration there for that. And therefore, all you need to do is just click once, and it syncs all your accounting information there. You just need to set it up once. I mean, we save so much time on that, and that time we can use it to spend on other things while growing our business, right? So I think that's one of the key things why I recommend Shopify so much. I'm not I am biased towards Shopify, and I've checked out all the other platforms that there is. And like I say, I still stand by saying that it does offer the widest range of services for. Again, it's not for everyone. Again, it's for businesses that are really looking to take control of the whole website and customer experience. These are people who want to use a site like Shopify. Yeah.
That sounds great. Well, guys, you're going to be wrapping up soon. Really, thank you so much for tuning in today, guys. And Ian, thank you so much once again. If you guys want to hear more from Ian, do join our Shopify workshop, and he also do share a lot of nuggets during that period of time, because I mean, people who is going to be learning how to do the Shopify is because they want to start a business or they want to bring their business online, right? So he's going to share a lot more during that time as well. So you know what, guys, do come by and do check out our Shopify workshop. So in the meantime, stay safe, stay healthy, stay well, stay at home. Please don't go out, guys, and be happy.
What are we hitting
Thank you
today?
so
Like 7,000?
Yeah. So don't want to know how many we're hitting today. Not interested to know anymore. But I
Fair
guess it's in 4 digits, so I guess you can go and buy Toto with it already.
Yeah, it's been 4 digits for a while. So yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, thanks
All
everyone
right,
for
guys.
tuning in and hearing my stories.
Thank you so much, Ian, for everything.
You're
Once
welcome.
again, do come by for our Shopify workshop, guys, happening on the 12th of June. It's going to be about a 4-hour. It's going to be 4 hours. You only need to take 4 hours of your life. Like, it's not very long. Okay? See you soon, guys.
Oh, if you guys have any questions and things like that, you want to reach out to me on Facebook, on Instagram, whatever, on LinkedIn, just search Ian Ng. You can find me there. Or yeah, chat with Audrey and Omid as well. I'll be happy to share about anything.
All right, guys. Thank you.
So
All right,
thank
thanks,
you.
Ian.
See you guys. All right,
Thanks,
bye.
everyone. Bye.